To join you is National Dialogue on Illegal Mining. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Here on Radio Justice in Tamale, Ganga FM in Apawu, on Radio Max in Takrade, KTU Radio in Koforidua. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. We're on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duro Plus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Dura Plus goes, water flows. This afternoon, Office of the Special Prosecutor joins the search for the slippery and ever-elusive ghost names on the public payroll, which continues to siphon public funds for years.
The assessment and investigation are especially aimed at isolating and removing non-existent names, recovering wrongful payments, and the prosecution of persons suspected to be culpable for any offences.
This afternoon, we explore the never-ending exercises. Leadership of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOCSAC, say they are fed up with the continuous auditing of the public payroll.
We are fed up of this every time ghost names. Who has been prosecuted in this country, in Ghana, of having put ghost names onto the payroll? They should tell us.
Also in this package, Parliament braces for a showdown as Trades Minister readies to lay controversial goods restriction airline amid stronger position from the minority.
He should make available copies of the instrument, as the majority leader also stated. Some of those amendments that were agreed upon have been taken on board. Then we can lay the instrument and move on with it.
I take you live to Parliament for the never-ending drama as the order paper for today to guide business advertises the passage of the 2024 budget, despite claims by the majority NPP that the matter was put to rest yesterday. As National Farmers' Day approaches, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia emphasizes the importance of data and technology-driven agriculture for the country's future.
The emerging technologies in artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things is now the way to go to make agriculture smart.
There's more as he commends the 2022 Best Farmer for investing in agribusiness and skills development of the youth. We have sports.
Yep, and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf allays fears of uncompleted facilities with 99 days left for the Africa Games.
In the night, you want us also to go and be farming, and then people will come and take our wives away. We have to be careful about this 24-hour thing.
And much later, women group take on Upper East Regional Minister for misinterpreting John Mahama's 24-hour economy initiative. They are demanding an apology for what they describe as sexist comments.
We call upon the Upper East Regional Minister to retract his statement and issue an unambiguous apology.
We have details of that and more here on the Midday News. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism, and I am Emefa Apawu. Please stay on for details. Many thanks for your company. And the public sector payroll is again up for auditing as the Office of the Special Prosecutor signals the start of a nationwide investigation to isolate and remove non-existent names, recover wrongful payment and prosecute persons suspected to be culpable of any offences. But this will not be the first time such an exercise will be undertaken as sections of the public sector workforce grows tired of the never-ending search for the ghosts on the payroll. Elton Brobe has more.
When the Special Prosecutor Kisei Jabin announced the start of investigations into the public sector payroll, he only repeated what was said by his predecessor Martin Amidu 5 years ago.
The Auditor General's office and my office, so we have agreed that while he's doing his work during the payroll audit, when he finds any suspicions of the commission of crime, he would signal us so that we will move in immediately and begin an investigation. So by the time the exercise is finished, if there are people who have committed any corruption or corruption-related offenses, we will deal with them together with their self-seeking collaborators.
Perhaps same script, but different cast today.
The OSP has commenced corruption risk assessment and investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of Government of Ghana Payroll Administration. The assessment and investigation are especially aimed at isolating and removing non-existent names, recovering wrongful payments, and the prosecution of persons suspected to be culpable for any offences.
But the search for the ever-evasive missing ghost on the public payroll didn't start today. Successive governments announced different methods to keep the ghost at the cemetery, but success continued to elude the nation. Indeed, in January this year, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission announced a similar exercise, which is still ongoing. Here is Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Ben Arthur.
We want to be sure that this year all public sector institutions that are receiving their pay directly or indirectly from government subvention will take first steps to sanitize their payroll.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, there are 688,000 people on the public payroll, and government spent over 45 billion cedis on their salary and other allowances in 2023. The figure, according to the 2024 budget, is expected to hit 57 billion cedis. Former Auditor General Daniel Demelevo and the Director General of the Internal Audit Service, Dr. Eric Odosai, thinks something must be done about the public payroll.
The payroll bill is becoming too big, and there's an increased allegations and findings from some of our audits on people using the payroll as a means of enhancing or making their personal economic recovery programs.
There are issues of missing names, there are issues of unknown names, there are issues of people with different dates of birth, there are issues of people using other people's vehicles for car maintenance allowance and all of that. We are not going to chase the ghosts for the ghosts to come back.
But will Kisi Ejabem and his team be successful to read the payroll of ghost names? Time will tell. Elton Brobe for Joy News.
Now, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana Clocksack say they are fed up with the never-ending investigation on the public payroll. Executive Secretary Dr. Isaac Bampuado has been speaking to us briefly on this.
And this idea of ghost name goes to, we've heard it too much. We have permanent department units under Ministry of Finance do biometric, all in the name of ghost name. We have validation, where a third party, they are doing validation for salaries, all in the name of ghost name. Consultancies that have been awarded in the name of ghost names, they are too much. They should change their strategies more. We are fed up of this every time ghost names. Who has been prosecuted in this country, in Ghana, of having put ghost names onto the payroll? They should tell us.
That's the Executive Secretary of Clocksack, Dr. Isaac Bampuado, there speaking to us earlier. Meanwhile, on the frustrations and concerns raised by the OSP in terms of raising concerns about judges ganging up against him in terms of all the cases that he's brought before them, the former Auditor General Daniel Domelevo says the judiciary has yet to prove it exists to dispense justice. He spoke on the Super Morning Show.
I don't think so. Let me say that I generalize it. But there are exceptions. There are several situations in which you see the court has done the right thing. But what I said was a generalization. He may need to go a bit further for us to know whether the court has actually ganged up against him or not. Especially when he's able to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, or tick all the boxes, ensure that he has no procedural issue. But I know the judges and the lawyers will tell you that procedure is very important. So I think this is a wake-up call for him. And I want to also advise him that he should know that there's going to be more. Now, I think this is the warming up stage. As he goes into holding people accountable, the fight.
Well, let me bring in a ranking member on the Employment and Labour Relations Committee in Parliament, Dr. Kwabena Donko, on this particular ghost names and the issues that has come up, especially from the Office of the Special Prosecutor yesterday. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News, Dr. Kwabena Donko. So this won't be the first time that we're hearing that ghost names are being chased. The former OSP, Martin Amidu, started this with the Auditor General. We've also known, as we speak, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission are also undertaking a similar exercise. Really, is this not an exercise in futility, you'd say?
Well, it depends on the time frame. The situation of ghost workers can be seen from two perspectives. The deliberate attempt to inflate the wage bill for personal gain. And that cannot happen without officials of the related agencies and staff of the Controller and Accountant General being involved. That is one perspective. The other one is our poor record keeping as a nation. Somebody dies or leaves the service, and it takes so long for the Controlling Accountant General to be notified through the appropriate processes. In the interim, people who are either dead or do not exist in terms of the workplace are still being paid. And so it should be a continuous effort.
A continuous effort, Dr. Kwabena, but shouldn't it be streamlined? We have a number of institutions undertaking the same exercise. We are hearing from the workers. They are fed up.
Absolutely. Between, you see, the Office of the Special Prosecutor can look at the criminal aspect of it, the criminality involved. The Auditor General will do an audit of the payroll. It is only the Auditor General who is competent to do an audit of the payroll by the constitutional provision, especially central government payroll.
But I'm wondering what the Fair Wages is doing then with the same exercise.
I am personally surprised Fair Wages is venturing into that, knowing their limited budget and knowing their limited ability arising out of poor funding. That is the issue. But yes, it is proper for the Office of the Special Public Prosecutor to look at the possible criminality in that whole exercise, whereas the Auditor General must continuously audit the payroll.
Okay, we're grateful. That's Dr. Kwabena Donkor, ranking member on the Employment Committee in Parliament. Today it takes me to Parliament itself, and a major decision is to take centre stage today. The Trade Minister, Katie Hammond, is set to lay the controversial Goods Restriction Legislative Instruments, that's the ELI, on the floor following an authorization by the Speaker of Parliament, Albert Magbing, last week. Well, despite receiving the green light from the Speaker of the House, there is stronger position from the minority who were committed to challenging it, saying the timing does not favour the current economic situation. Let's hear from the Deputy Minority Leader, Kofi Amabwa.
We are laying the old document. That is the document that we had issues with. I have not seen the amended document, and so that is a problem. And since then, Honourable Speaker, I'm also very much aware that you have been petitioned by stakeholders in the industry who have serious concerns. And so, Honourable Speaker, I think that I raise these matters because we have very strong views on this LI, and ordinarily we wouldn't oppose it. But as you yourself have stated, we are here because of the people of Ghana.
Meanwhile, Trade Minister Katie Hammond insists there is an understanding between both sides of the House to agree to the passage. He spoke exclusively to my colleague Evan Spencer.
You mean yes, hasn't reported?
Well, that was the allegation, that he hadn't reported to the leadership.
The outcome of the meeting which you just talked about.
Yeah, that's right. It turned out not to be true. He had reported to them. Then what do we do? Okay, let's...
But was that outcome a consensus position that was going to be communicated?
As far as I'm concerned, within the committee was absolutely a consensus.
So you're saying that the NDC chair side and the MPP chair side all agreed at that committee level?
They completely agree.
Too late?
Yeah, sure, late.
With the change being reviews will return to Parliament.
I can read to you. I mean,
please, I'd love to.
Let's
this is a sure fact, by the way, as you have seen, and I would love for you to read what the actual text is, based on the agreement that you reached.
Can I have my phone?
Please, sir. Please do. And by the way, you're still live.
Well, so that's Katie Hammond's interaction there with my colleague Evan Spencer. He definitely got his phone and read it out to us. Let me take you live to Parliament for the latest on the matter. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us on the line. So Kweku, has this particular airline been laid by Katie Hammond yet?
For 2 hours after sitting was scheduled to start, sitting hasn't started yet, and Katie Hammond has not laid this controversial LI yet. In fact, if you look at the other paper of today, that LI does not feature on it. But we know that an addendum may come which may make it possible for him to lay. But if you look at the other paper that has been distributed to MPs and journalists now have copies, this LI is not listed as part of the business that will be taken today. And like I said, maybe an addendum may come with that item, but MPs are mainly focusing on this budget controversy, and there are caucus meetings happening currently before MPs will come to the floor for business to start.
Hold on to that order paper, but let me quickly find out from you whether the minority and the majority have finally agreed on this particular airline. Then we can talk about the budget.
There is no agreement yet, Emefa. As we speak, the minority are still insisting that this airline is bad law. They are going to oppose it if it is late. They've not revealed what exactly their strategy will be yet. But an interview I had with Emmanuel Lamakusiboa, he told me they were going to fight to the end. They do not believe this is something that KT Hammond should be given that power as minister to be able to give import licenses to businesses as they wish, and that is the fight that is happening now. But the majority really clear that they want to allow this go through. It is when KT Hammond tries to lay this on the floor that we'll see the strategy that the minority have fashioned to oppose this.
Now read to us exactly what the order paper says about the budget 2024.
Well, if you look at item 10 of the order paper, it says that this honorable house approves the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2024. What this means is that the budget, as we know it, has not been passed, contrary to the claims of the finance minister. And you see the underrated head count to be taken. And that will mean MPs will be asked to stand in their seats to be counted, or whether or not they approve of the 2024 budget presented by the finance minister, or they disapprove of it.
You want to stay with us for more of that drama that will unfold later today in Parliament. Well, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, we heard him yesterday on this particular budget, insisting that as far as he's concerned, it's been passed. But today he's also been describing the minority's resistance to the passage of the 2024 budget as a needless intervention. The majority side, we all know, they staged the walkout amongst others. But speaking at the Ghana Capital Market Conference, the Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, says the resistance is needless.
Parliament, the last thing I heard was the years have it. so I believe, well, I don't know that. So we'll see what happens with the head count. Parliamentary procedures are a bit complicated. So we'll see what happens. But really, I mean, in a nutshell, as an aside, I'm not sure that there needs to be parliamentary approval for the principles and objectives of the budget, because truly is appropriation, where then you can get into the estimates and nitty-gritties of that. I mean, who will be against a budget that is saying there's macro stability and that there's relief for the people of Ghana and there's growth? I'm not sure anybody will be against that. And so maybe it's an unnecessary intervention, and it really needs to get into the issues of appropriation and estimate as to where that judgment should come.
That's Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, do you use mobile money? Gather round, because starting Friday, December 1, mobile money agents across Ghana say they will enforce a temporary measure restricting cash withdrawals to a maximum of 1,000 Ghana cedis per transaction. Well, this decision is outlined in a joint statement issued by 4 Momo associations: the Northern Momo Agents Association of Ghana, the Mobile Money Advocacy Group, and the Mobile Money Agents Association Ghana. Well, let me bring in my colleague James Aveji to give us more on this. So why this decision?
Emefa, so in that statement there is 3 key issues, and first is that this 1,000 cedis temporary restriction will last for a month, i.e. till the end of December, and will be enforced across all the telecommunication networks to call for fair compensation for their members, as you stated. And secondly, that they will use this 1 month period to actually continue an active engagement with the service providers to address their concern. But if there is no favorable adjustment